Welcome to the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and I've got a bone to pick with the reselling community. If you didn't watch my last video on best offers, I mentioned that there's several topics that have been coming up in the reselling groups and things that folks are talking about that I just kind of wanted to address in my style. Not necessarily a rant, but more of a tough love, and hopefully it will help some of you change like these negative mindsets and what I feel are mindsets that are detrimental to the reselling community, the selling platforms as a whole, but also to yourself. So I will have the one I did on the best offers pop up at the end here for you if you didn't catch that one. But today we're going to talk about my soapbox that I like to get up on, because I am very, very much against the fast nickel and racing to the bottom. Now, I want to make this very, very clear before I get into this video and start ranting and doling out this tough love. There is a huge difference between pricing to sell and pricing to race to the bottom. Some people tend to get very, very defensive when I start talking about this race to the bottom and pricing your items higher. They get very defensive and they feel some type of way and they feel like they need to tell me, but I need my stuff to sell. That's great. Price your stuff to sell. That doesn't mean race to the bottom. So, for example, let's say you find a pair of Miss Me jeans at the thrift. And you bring them home, you wash them, measure them, photograph them, and you go sit down to list them, and you comp them, and they're selling for about 40, 45 bucks generally. You see some that are listed at 50. You can probably assume the folks listing them at 50 are doing that to have room to run sales and take offers, and they're probably going to get about 45 or 50 as well if you look at the solds and that's what they're selling for, and then you look at the listeds. Now, pricing yours to sell would be pricing yours right at 40 bucks. Doesn't really give you room for offers, doesn't really give you room for sales. So, yours might move more quickly, but you're not giving yourself any wiggle room there. You could price them at 45 and give yourself some wiggle room, but if you really, really need them to move and you see that people are constantly selling them at 40, you could sell yours or start yours at 40 while everyone else is starting at 45 and 50. You get what I'm saying? That's pricing it to move it quickly to sell. But when you come in at 35 or 30, that's that race to the bottom. That's when it becomes a problem and becomes detrimental to the selling platform, the brand, all of us as resellers, the whole community, and everybody. And here's why. If you price yours at 35, and then tomorrow, a new reseller sees yours, doesn't really understand how to comp, they'll price theirs at 35. And then somebody with the same mindset of that race to the bottom comes in the next day and prices theirs at 30. And so on and so forth. So everybody with this mentality of race to the bottom, coupled with new resellers coming in, not really knowing what items are worth, they're new, they're just looking at what's listed or what's sold. Before you know it, you've now got Miss Me jeans selling for $20. These are jeans that used to sell for $50. But if everybody undercuts everybody else and does that race to the bottom, you're now selling Miss Me jeans for less than what I used to get for American Eagle. That is ridiculous. There is no reason for it. So yes, price to sell, absolutely. Or price a little bit higher and run sales and do best offers. But there's no need to undercut everyone because the next person's going to undercut you. And I have absolutely, in the years that I've been reselling, seen this happen to so many brands. And it's irritating to me because there's no reason for that to happen. The rest of the world is suffering from inflation and prices are going up, but yet we're continuing to race to the bottom on eBay. And there's no reason for it. You can price at the low end if you really need your stuff to move fast. if you're someone like me, you could price in the middle or on the high end and do your sales and be willing to sit for a little while. The other mentality I don't really agree with is this, oh, but I only paid. Okay, you only paid $1 for your Miss Me jeans. You lucked out. You're going to go sell them for 20 because you're happy with that profit. But they're actually worth 50 and they will resell for 50. And I'm just using examples. I'm not saying this is, set in stone, but if you got them for $1, that's great for you, and you're willing to take less, but you're lowering the value of them for everybody, and not everybody gets them for that $1. And then what happens when the cost goes up at your thrift? So you could be hurting yourself in the long run too. If you're part of the problem and you're racing to the bottom and you're making it so that these brands are worth less on eBay now, because before you were happy to just make a couple bucks and undercut everybody else, but now, hey, all the prices are going up everywhere, so now you're suddenly looking at paying $5 for those jeans. Your profit margin has just shrunk. So you're doing a disservice to everyone when you race to the bottom. I'm absolutely not saying that everyone has to price high or everyone has to price in the middle. There's always a range when you're comping, the low to the high. You can go on the lower end. Absolutely. If you need your money back quickly, if you need your sell-through rate to be more fast, that's not proper English, but you know what I'm saying. And that's the other argument I see a lot is like some people say, well, some people don't have a lot of capital and some people need their stuff to turn more quickly so that they can take those profits, reinvest it back into more inventory. And they need that inventory to turn quickly because they're just constantly flipping it around because they don't have a built up savings or capital yet. Okay, but you don't have to participate in this race to the bottom because over time that will ruin things for everybody. And I can't stand the fact that I used to be able to sell so many brands for this much and now they're worth this much. Over time it can still happen if everybody's pricing on the lower end, but it wouldn't be as quickly. It wouldn't happen as fast. So instead of this mentality of I got to price the lowest or hey, I only paid $1, have this mentality of comp the item properly, look through the solds. What is that brand or that item consistently selling for in the last 90 days? What are people fetching for it? Then look at what's listed now and pick somewhere in the middle or on the low end if you need your stuff to flip fast. But when everybody starts coming in, right down to the bottom, it's like if we all want this to be like a long-term solution for all of us to have a job, that's not the way to do it. I was going to tell you about like this auction house system on World of Warcraft, but I don't know if there's a lot of gamers that watch my channel, but it is a good analogy. On World of Warcraft, they have this auction house where people can sell crafts or regions they find in the environment in the open world. And you see it all the time on there as well. You'll have, a special piece of armor that's worth, 50 grand in gold on World of Warcraft. And then the next person puts it at 45 grand and then 40 and then 35. And you can just kind of see it happening. It happens really fast. And I always think, oh goodness, it's just like being on eBay. Everybody's racing to the bottom. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to address that I think the biggest defense I see when I talk about this race to the bottom and how we all shouldn't be doing it is, but I need my stuff to move fast. And yeah, that's fine. And even I think there's a huge difference between pricing on the low end and undercutting everybody in that race to the bottom. You can still get your fast nickel without contributing to the problem or contributing to the destruction of an entire brand or value of a brand on a platform. And it's not greedy to want to make money. I mean, that's why we're all in this, right? So just because you only paid X amount for something doesn't mean you got to sell it for less than what it's worth. The whole reason we're all doing reselling as our jobs is so that we can pay our bills, eat food, keep a roof over our head, and take care of our family and our pets. And you can't do that if you're not making money. So it's not greedy to want to maximize your profits. The more profits you make, the more capital you have, the more inventory you can get, the more you can sell, the more profits you have, the more money you have to pay your bills, to take care of your family and your pets, and to buy the things that you need and want. And it's not greedy. It's if it's your job, it's really not. So that's my little rant about racing to the bottom. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let them down below. And hit the thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Help us feed a hungry hippo. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. There's a link down there for you guys. Until next time, go be productive. Go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.